Hi, I'm CJ Altenberg with Transwest Truck Trailer RV in Frederick, Colorado. We appreciate you tuning in this morning. Today we're going to walk you through a new Cimarron Norstar 4-horse gooseneck. What's unique about this trailer is this is actually a custom order for an actual customer themselves. This is a repeat customer, very loyal to Cimarron, very happy with the Cimarron product itself. Another sales associate and her have had a long-standing relationship. He's built her multiple trailers. So they sat down and went through kind of what she was looking for in her next trailer. Now we get a look at the finished product here, which is really cool. So what we'll do is we'll take a look at the drawing on this trailer, and I'll just kind of point out a couple things. So this trailer is 7'6" wide, it's 7'7" tall, it's 23 6-foot on the floor, a 6-foot front tack room, the short wall 6-foot on this trailer. But again, it's built and also built for maybe resale down the road. I mean, she likes a new trailer maybe every 5, 6, 7 years, something along those lines. She's also thinking long term as well. If you have that extra height, that extra width, it opens you up to a whole new clientele. To where if you go standard height, standard width, maybe that works for you, and there's a lot of customers out there that are looking for that setup, but it does open you up into a whole nother category when you go to resell this trailer. We're selling and building a lot more extra tall, extra wide trailers for the warm blood customers, so that potentially could open up her to that market when she does go to resell this trailer. But let's walk you through. I'll kind of point out some things that she did to this trailer as we go through it here. Very first thing that she did was she put a electric over hydraulic single leg jack. Now this trailer is not massive by any means. Empty weight is about 5,600 pounds, so it's not really heavy, but boy, that is sure a nice feature and a nice upgrade to have, because man, you just push a button and up and down this trailer goes. The system that we put on the Cimarrons that Cimarron offers has the manual override as well. So if we get in an emergency situation where the jack's not working or battery's dead and we need to get this on or off the truck, we can take the handle and put it in here where this pump, and we can pump this trailer up, and then we can actually pull this red tab out and rotate it backwards, and then I can pump the trailer down. So it does have that option to where if we need to do that, we can. She put a aluminum battery box on here with a single battery that powers this jack itself. It also will run some interior lights. There's a 12 volt fan that I'll show you in the tack room that runs off of this as well. As you're hooked up to your truck going down the road, your truck will work as a trickle charger to the battery. So it'll keep it nice and charged up for you. Like I mentioned, it's a 6-foot short wall front dressing room. So it's a little bit bigger front dressing room than kind of our standards. A lot of our standard trailers and inventory that are set up similar to this, maybe are 3.5 foot, maybe a 4-foot short wall, but this one here she opted for 6. So one thing it allows for a big, nice opening. So this is a 42-inch wide door. And the other reason why, and I'll show you here, is a swing out saddle rack. So Cimarron puts these swing out saddle racks on this 42-inch wide opening. And the reason why is if we move this door frame, closer to more of a standard setup, we have the potential of hitting, our saddles as we go to swing this out on this door frame. So it gives us more room when we actually swing this out. But as you notice, there's still a clear path here. So you can get in and out of this trailer even when the saddle rack is swung out. But then when it swings in, then you have a nice big opening here getting in and out of this trailer. On the door, she put a 4-tier blanket pull rack. That's also on a gas shock, so it swings out. So it's nice and easy to access everything. You can put blankets, pads, and then swing it in, and then it holds it, and then she put a brush tray on the door. The other thing is she opted for that fold-up step, which I absolutely love. I highly recommend it on all these tack doors. The reason why is it makes it so nice and easy getting in and out of these trailers. Now granted, this has a swing out saddle rack, but if you are lugging other stuff in here, it's just a lot easier to transition. You know, rather than going from the ground up and over this ledge here, that's a pretty big step. So that fold-up step there really helps from that standpoint. And then as we get into the tack room, I'll kind of point out a couple other things that she did. One of the first things you'll notice is this is lined and insulated. So she lined the interior walls of this tack room and then finished it off with the white aluminum sheeting on the inside here. And then obviously we have a standard insulated roof on every Cimarron. You know, it really keeps stall area a lot cooler, about 20% compared to our aluminum sheeted roofs. So with that being the case, you know, it's going to keep this area a lot cooler for you in those real hot summer months, but also your horses as well. The other cool thing is this will take some substantial hail. So here in Colorado in hail season, you know, we'll see some aluminum roofs get beat up. It affects your resale value. Got to go through an insurance claim, and there's just a lot to it, to where, you know, I'll never say we can't get hail big enough to do some damage to these roofs, but what we would see is a big enough stone would basically just kind of crack it and give it a little spider web, but it doesn't actually, you don't notice anything from the inside, and you can actually go ahead and silicone it, and all you're doing is keeping moisture out of each one of those honeycombs, because it's a 1/2 inch thick, reinforced with that honeycomb in there. That's where that insulation and that strength comes from. There's that 12-volt fan that I was telling you about. The other cool thing is that with that framework right there, that is the same footprint that you would need for an AC unit. So down the road, if she ever wanted to add an AC unit and take that out, all she'd have to do is add 30 amp breaker package to this to power it, and then put an AC unit on there. But the framework's already done, which, you know, it does save us quite a bit of time and money to do it when we build it rather than after the fact. On the gooseneck drop wall, she put a 3-foot length by 18-inch deep boot box. These boot boxes are really nice from the standpoint of just keeping some smaller miscellaneous items from just bouncing around as you're going down the road. But also, it's a step as you go up into the gooseneck. So if you wanted to throw a mattress, a bedroll, something like that in here, you know, this is, with it being lined and insulated, this would be a nice, cool place to spend a night or two in it at some events if you wanted to. Then she opted to carpet the entire partition wall, which I really like. We try to do that on all of our inventory, kind of using trailers like this, because tack will just, you know, I mean, it'll move back and forth as you're driving, so it'll scrape up the wall, it'll scrape up your tack over time, but also it makes a lot of noise. And you got to think, our horse is on the other side of this wall, so it makes a lot of noise on that wall as we're driving down the road. So that carpet really helps with that standpoint there. And then actually, I'll kind of step out of the way. Directly behind us here, she opted to put another set of carpet and another set of hooks, high and low. You just can never have enough hooks in these trailers, it seems like. So she really upgraded and put quite a few of them on there. She put an 18-inch load light. It's kind of nice because it's centered kind of above that tack door, but then also our horse area here. So we get some light coverage out here as we're, you know, saddling, unsaddling. 2 7,000-pound rubber torsion Dexter axles. These tires are balanced and nitrogen filled, and that nitrogen is going to keep the PSI levels from fluctuating if they were air-filled tires. Now, if you need to fill these, if we have a slow leak or something, you need to put air to them, you totally can. You can run these by a tire shop. A lot of the new tire shops offer the nitrogen filled. That's where that green tab is. they'll be able to refill those up for you. But you can go ahead and put air to these. That's not a problem. You have a 1 year, no questions asked warranty on these tires. So if you do catch a nail and it can't be patched, you have a blowout, you take some pictures of some codes on here, you send it in to Lion's Head, not through Cimarron, through Lion's Head, the vendor that Cimarron uses, and they'll send you a new tire within a couple of days. 2 years of roadside assistance as well. And then on the Cimarron fenders, those are bolt-on fenders. So they're not weld-on. So again, over time, you know, you're not going to spend as much money if you do have an issue where it tears up this fender and it needs to be replaced. It's a lot more labor intensive to cut off an weld-on fender and then have the new one welded on, to where this with the bolt-on, it's really easy. Takes a lot less time to do that. So 4 big bus windows on the hip wall. But I want you to notice below here, she opted for an exterior tie rail. So we do that tie rail on a lot of cattle trailers and a lot of our stock combos. But she opted to do this, and I'll show you on the other side, she did the tie rings on the other side. But this is kind of cool because, you know, you can tie a horse wherever you want. You're not limited on where that tie ring is. So that was an upgrade there that she put on this trailer. That can be added to trailers as well. We just kind of need to know the lengths. It does take a little bit of labor from the standpoint of they send the hardware that actually attaches to the trailer separate from the actual rail. We just need to know the rail length, and then about how many actual pieces we need to attach to the trailer, and then those will be welded on. Because what we want to do is we want to get it to where it's into an upright post. So that's, you know, every trailer is a little bit different on that. So we can go ahead and add that to some inventory trailers, or if you have one that you want to add that to currently. Rear 50/50 doors. She wanted this nice, inviting. So there's no rear tack room on this trailer. Not even a folding, but you will notice the mangers that she put on here. Since it's a 4-horse, she put the mangers at stalls 2, 3, and 4. And then we lengthen this back stall area a little bit so this divider can swing over and we can shut these rear doors. She didn't want the telescoping, she didn't want a moving part here, so we just had a little bit of length. Some trailers, some manufacturers will make this back stall a little bit narrower. I mean, as far as its depth, and then if it's a solid divider and the doors have to shut, you know, typically this divider is off the wall a little bit. But we like to go ahead and add length. We do that to a lot of our inventory trailers. We'd rather give you a little bit more length in the back stall to keep that as a solid divider. And then again, not a moving part as far as the telescoping. Solid dividers. Stud divider at number 1. She does have an access door at number 1, so if she wants to use this stall for some additional storage, she can. She can access it from the access door itself. Don't have to worry about items getting underneath the horse with the stud divider. It'll keep everything up in this first stall. But then I also want you to notice, I mean, everything has a radius on these. You know, no sharp edges, no 90 degrees, nothing protruding out from the wall. Everything has the horse in mind and keeping them safe first and foremost. I mean, we have these recessed paddle latches. The actual paddle latch itself is a UHMW, a heavy-duty plastic, so we're not having metal-to-metal contact, creating a lot more noise. So that helps from a noise standpoint. This is a cast aluminum piece, so it's got the strength there. But again, everything's got safety in mind. I mean, everything's nice and easy to use. Just push that shut. We're not having to hold this as a horse is pushing against it, dropping a pin in, anything like that. Because of this extra width, you will have a little bit of wheel well in here. If this was an 8 wide, it would be a little bit deeper, but on the 7.6, you know, you're just kind of getting in a couple stalls. From that standpoint, you might look at it and say, okay, well, where do I want to put a certain horse? The biggest bodied horse Lengthwise, you might put in this back stall because again, we have a little bit more length in this rear stall. They can also take a step to the left, creating a lot more just room for that horse itself. You have an additional load light here at the back, and then you've got 4 interior LED lights in there as well. Everything's on an individual switch, so I can run this back load light, I can run the interior lights, or I can run that one above the tack room off of an individual switch for each one of them. So I don't have to have everything on at once. I can do one at a time if I'd like to. Over here on driver's side, I've got the mangers open with the drop windows, just to give you kind of a good view of that. So 3 access doors for the mangers, because again, they were at stalls 2, 3, and 4. And then it gives you a good idea on how big the drop windows are on some Cimarrons. But those mangers are just great for some additional storage. We know we all take a lot of stuff with us, so it's kind of nice to have that ability to have everything in its place, out of the way, you know where it's at. Nice and organized. This is all framework around these drop windows. These are massive drop windows, so we can create a lot of airflow through these Cimarrons. And then we have that insulated roof as well. So we're keeping the horses as comfortable as we possibly can. But those guys are big, they're stout, they're gonna hold up over time. The jail bars do drop down as well. And then you have that access door at stall 1. This drop window is gonna be a little bit smaller just because we have the framework of the door. We can't make it as big as those back there. But it is nice to have that drop window there. And then again, there's your access door. You have a chest bar that goes across. There are hooks in there as well, so if she wanted to add a corner feeder in there, she could do that as well, since she only has mangers at 2, 3, and 4. But like I mentioned, this is a custom build here. Again, a longtime Transwest customer, a big fan of Cimarrons. But I'll give you the stock number in case you're interested in this. You want to maybe look at what we have in inventory, what we have on order, or potentially build something. Maybe this gives you some ideas, or you want to put your own personal stamp and own options on here. This is a 2021 Cimarron Norstar 4-horse gooseneck. Stock number on it is 5N210029. So you can reference that number if you say, hey, I want that exact trailer, or I want to start with this trailer and I want to make these changes. Give us a call. Anybody on the sales team can help you out with that. That number is 303-684-3400. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good day.